All right, here we go into game number 3. Picks and bans are underway. Spitfire and Risky Behavior. Spitfire won game 1. Risky Behavior won game 2. So the question of the day is, what are the picks and bans going to be? And then, of course, who will it end up being who wins game 3? I messed up that rhyme horribly. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, Target.
Ban 1. Zeus, ban 1 for Risky Behaviors. Risky Behavior saying we're not going to give it over to Deadly Midget. Then ban number 2 for Spitfire. Third ban overall will be Kepri. And then Zhonghui being banned out by Risky Behavior. They do not want to deal with the Waddler.
Yeah, I mean, nobody in this current meta wants to deal with Zhonghui or a Hell at this point, so I expect those two to be the perma bans here. Zeus, also, with the Zeus players they have available right now, especially with Xenotronics being available, you don't want to label it either side. So Risky Behavior, rather than risk it being picked up immediately, we'll just ban it out. Now, with Geb being the first lock in here for Spitfire, Risky Behavior, they've got a lot of options here. Hoonbots and Giannis with the hover on, insta-locks there, and Skeledon gonna be playing Hoonbots again, and he had an impressive show last game.
Indeed he did, as they do see those show up on the screen. And again, I mean, and Giannis is very strong. Xenotronics has a strong Giannis play as well. Though, obviously, Giannis not quite as strong as Zeus in certain regards. Again, it's that juggle of strong in this way, not in that way situation. Giannis very, very strong in mobility, not necessarily as strong in certain hyper carry situations, but at the same time can certainly blow you up. Unstable Vortex is very, very painful, and we are waiting for the hovers to get locked in. I am very sorry, Soza.
Yeah, it looks like an Agni and a nothing being locked in for Spitfire. Shame they didn't lock in a third god there.
Very big shame indeed, as it appears that Soza continues to suffer from circuit pattern blindness. As you did say, though, Agni does get picked up. Agni does do fairly well up against Giannis. Again, question of sort of the way that you play it. I do like the matchup, though, slightly in favor of Agni. Again, his clear becomes a little bit better, a little bit faster. And then over on the other side now, we're just kind of waiting to see what we get here, as Famous Hate looking for the last pick of the first pick phase.
Yeah, the nice thing about this combo from Spitfire here is Circuit going to be able to help that early gaming from Agni as well. So once they both hit that level 5 point, they're going to have a ton of kill pressure here. And Famous Hate locking in Apollo, was there really anybody else to expect for him as an AD carry here? Now, Risky Behavior, bans back in their corner. Hu Yi just taken straight off the table here. So I think the curse is finally lifted now that Hu Yi is no longer available. Spitfire firing back with, it looks like, a Sobek ban.
Well, the Hu Yi ban does come out, which is unfortunate because, well, that means that we can't test our theory about the the Hu Yi always losing Sobek. It does get banned out by Risky Behavior, or excuse me, does get banned out by Spitfire. So the boys of Risky Behavior will not have that as an option for a tank. However, they will have Sylvanas and Athena both still on the table. Very interesting. Though Sobek is a fairly good flex pick for solo or support. Once again, Risky Behavior being made up by Xenotronics, Wubbin, Famous Hate, Skeledon, and Crazy Toaster. Skeledon and Crazy Toaster, the last two to pick, and Skeledon is currently hovering on what should be a support pick, and it is locked in as Xing-Chen.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen this God all tournament here. He's such a nice, flexible pick, too. He could also work as the solo laner for Risky Behavior here, if Crazy Toaster were feeling up to it. Now, we're back on the side of Spitfire, though. We're looking at an Athena-Medusa combo hover on right now. This is a very likely lock-in, so I wouldn't be surprised this one go ahead and go in. And really, it is one of the few things that are super merit. I mean, you have the taunt right.
But then where do you put Geb?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think this will be an Athena in the solo lane, actually.
But then they kind of negate. I mean, that negates the purpose of Athena Medusa, though at the same time, Athena still works
great. It still works great in the team fighting phase, though. I mean, it sets up some incredible ultimates out of Medusa here. Athena can still get all around the map with her ultimate, so it still works out fine in the laning phase. And really, I think it's just going to be that late game Athena-Medusa combo that you're looking for, as the taunt gives you a guaranteed heavy hit with your ultimate on Medusa.
It will be interesting, and so we're waiting to see what other characters do get picked up here for Risky Behavior, waiting for that last pick to go through. And
waiting on it right now.
Will be
Bacchus. We're
seeing
double guardian on both sides actually here.
Double Guardian on both sides. Xingqian going to end up going over to Crazy Toaster, meaning support Bacchus, solo Xingqian, and solo Athena support Geb, which is definitely what makes the most sense. Again, will be interesting to see what happens. Very interesting combination on all sides, so we're going to have to sort of play it by ear. I'm inclined to say that the hyper carry potential on Risky Behavior is slightly stronger, even though, once again, our British production can't seem to spell behavior correctly.
I mean...
but that said, Spitfire
both
has
Guardians that got picked are very much magical bruisers.
Yes,
like,
definitely.
they are very, very powerful. Athena, the shield wall is such a good combo there. She also provides the taunt, so you still get her main form of CC, and she's got some cross-map pressure with her ultimate, and a ton of it at that. And Xingqian, we really didn't talk about his damage that much, as it is one of the key factors for him. His ultimate is a mini version of his Ares ultimate as well, and it sets up a lot of things as well. And a lot of his damage, while not front-loaded, is very heavy. So they have more magical bruises as secondary guardians, and Bacchus also could come across as one of those magical bruises as well, since he deals a hefty amount of damage as well.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but once again, we do need to go ahead and go to a break while we wait for Spectator Client to finish counting down. This is week number 5 of the Smite North American Challengers Cup, brought to you by hi-rez Studios and Tier Monster. Game number 3 in this best of 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back as soon as Spectator finishes counting down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last game of the day guaranteed. Spitfire versus Risky Behavior. Spitfire in the blue, Risky Behavior in the red. And, as was pointed out, this is purely for pride.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, in terms of who wins this game, Risky is guaranteed first, Spitfire guaranteed second, K-Spot third, Nizzle Shizzles fourth, Burly Man fifth, Inverse Esports sixth, Vicious and Delicious seventh, and then Neil M eighth. So, at this point, this is 100% about whose shoulders are bigger and who can flex more.
No one decide who the burlier man is, it seems, and well, they're both burlier than burly men, it seems. I mean, just judging by the seed ranking.
Yes.
I mean, like, really, these two teams are the two guys that we would definitely see go toe-to-toe often. They meet up in community tournaments incredibly often. This is very rapidly becoming the finals here as, oh, there's a big invade in the solo lane. Somebody wants to start off big and Risky Behavior. They want to take away a win early on here. Overhand smash coming on through.
Steal it.
Mullen, they steal it away here. As now Skeledon looking for the fight. Valentine on the run. Can he actually get away is the question. Running back to his way. Doesn't matter. Skeledon got the buff. Skeledon's going to walk away and head mid. And Crazy Toaster, happy and quite ahead on XP now.
Indeed. Now, neither of the solo laners have blue buffs, so we're going to have to figure out what happens here. And actually, even in mid, the junglers are both level 1 as well. Sure, Skeledon got the speed buff, but there's a lot of questions now over what happens next. Are we going to see Skeledon rotate and get blue? Are we going to see him get their blue? Are we going to see him take his blue? Are we going to see him take his speed?
I think the team, they're going to engage on the blue of, well, Spitfire right here, and now they're actually going right for it here. This should be a guaranteed thing. A Skeledon and Xena already in position here, and there's not too much that, well, Spitfire can do about it here. They might actually meet up here as now, Skeledon going for the fight. Portal on over. Looks like Valentine might be in trouble here. Xeno just waiting for the Vortex, and it looks like Skeledon trying to block the advance of Spitfire here. They've got to be quick here as First Blood decided. Midget will secure it now as Skeledon will fall. Portal will finally connect to Valentine. He's going to die to Crazy Toaster right there. As it looks like the rest of the fight has been decided here, but First Blood did go the way of Spitfire. The engagement is close, and overall goal, once again, dead even. 2 kills to open the game, and a return First Blood, Revenge Blood coming through.
Indeed, so 1-1 at a minute 40. This is pretty much anybody's game, but it is going to be a crazy one at that. As we see duo lane, Left Syndrome getting very aggressive, going to throw Fat Santa back under tower.
Yeah, throwing Fat Santa around quite often right now, but overall, the game has lulled a bit. That invade was one of the deciding factors to open things up here, but a great response actually from Spitfire to secure that First Blood with Undead Midget right there. So, I mean, they did get the First Blood money onto an important target here, but it was split a lot better on the side of Risky Behavior right there, a 1-1 trade right there, and it was a revenge kill, so all in all, mostly just ended in even gold. Neither side really able to get any kind of advantage farm-wise here, because teleports are online, death timers are, you know, absolutely minuscule right here. So mostly, especially being a revenge first blood coming up as well, mostly it's just like a pride factor. So right now this game does seem to be more about sending a message than anything else.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see what message it sends as well. Going into groups. Excuse me. But we will just have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see, and I'm fairly certain that either way it's going to be an exciting run here. As now, like to see, since the Siege ones have been decided, the draw should come out soon enough, so we'll get to find out who the actual group matchups are. But these teams are the kind of guys you don't want to run up against. K-Spot has been shown they are very, very strong, but not invincible. So these are the three teams you really have to watch out for. So almost all the groups are guaranteed to have one of those death march teams at this point. So really, there is no safe group right now, and I'm honestly rather afraid for almost all the teams here, especially some of the lower seeded teams, aside from Inverse, who are an incredibly good roster, but they didn't show up to many of the tournaments until recently.
Again, it will be interesting to see sort of where things fall out. We are going to see a gank over to the dual lane, maybe. Does the sun come out? Doesn't matter, because there's the beads actually immediately onto Love Syndrome. Love Syndrome is going to get the Cataclysm off as well, but the leap away is there. Maybe, oh, there comes Smallest as well.
Yeah, here comes the rest of Spitfire through space and time also coming. This should be an absolute massacre here as the fight breaks out. Woman will explode, spreading the poison to everybody. Skeleton burning out fast. The meteor will connect and another explosion occurs as Midget secures that kill. Spitfire starting off incredibly strong here, as that is a huge rotation from Spitfire, doing lots of work. Now as the Mollusk groups up around this purple buff, he should secure it here, but the portal will actually secure it for risky behavior right there, and Xeno taking away that XP just fine and happy right now.
That was misplay by Wubbin. When you're that low and a Circuit has ulted you, you really need to go away from your team. You really can't go towards your teammates.
You can't make a panic decision like that. You just cannot afford to do that, especially in a key fight like this.
At this skill level especially, you can't, because it's going to get punished. And again, that sounds incredibly harsh, but you're a top 2 Challengers Cup team.
These are the teams that we see fighting over spots in the SPL. You need to be not making minor mistakes like this. And even though it doesn't really lead to an SPL spot, you cannot really afford to make mistakes like this. As if you keep making them, they do build bad habits. And making a panic decision like that is one of the things that separate the best from the better.
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to see Blue is going to get taken for Valentine. But again, not for free. Crazy Toaster being allowed to harass quite drastically.
And not being allowed to harass, and that is a good thing so far, but well, it's not going to change anytime soon. He's got to make up some kind of idea, some kind of plan here, as the rest of risky behavior looking to make a rotation as well here, trying to respond to Spitfire's earlier 4-man rotation towards that dual lane. And all in all, I do like the 4-man dual lane rotations that have been occurring here. That puts him in a position for a Gold Fury, so it threatens that. It forces risky behavior to respond and play around the fact that mistakes around that dual lane fight, especially at this point in the game, now that we reach this 5-minute mark, are going to be deadlier and deadlier. Gold Fury starting to become an actual major objective here. And at this point, with all the damage available inside of Spitfire, you cannot afford to get caught out in these dual lane fights.
It will be interesting. Interesting to see what happens here. Once again, waiting just to kind of see what comes out. All the ultimates are back up. Even the beads that were blown at tier 1 that were used there by Geb are back up online already. I mean, we've had just such a long time between the last serious engagement. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
It will be interesting, and what I'd imagine here is, right now we're about to see the Gold Fury dance start its early phases here. We see the ward control starting to pop up around it, teams starting to get these sentry wards out. Spitfire are starting to get choked away from the Gold Fury. As risky behavior, they're only 200 gold down. They've been farming absolutely perfectly, it seems, and that is one of the big things in their favor here. Now, they're just choking out the vision of Spitfire here as best they can, and trying to make sure that if they want to find a sneaky play, if they want to find a Gold Fury here, Spitfire enters it with as little information as possible, leading to some possible really easy engagements for risky behavior here.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens here. Spitfire applying a little bit of pressure in the mid lane, though Circuit may be in some trouble with Giannis, and Mollusk actually getting taken down to about half health means that he's not going to be able to engage too much. However, we do see the Athena ultimate coming out onto Love Syndrome, but Skeleton will just jump right over it, and that means that that is a Athena in the mid lane with nothing to wear.
Yeah, An ultimate burned right there, and that's not a good sign at all. Now it looks like risky behavior. They will want to start the rotations, and they want to start them in full here, hunting for more kills. Now the flank, the pincer could be good here. Maul is getting absolutely obliterated right there by an unstable vortex. Staticson does come down, catches on the weapon, tossed back into the Fear No Evil. Skeleton will bring down the Maulus, but the damage is burning it fast. Skeleton, he finds a double actually, looking for more as weapon burns out fast. Turnip gets him with the poison there, as now Turnip needs to be on the run. Skeleton, he's sitting up nice, happy, and healthy here. But despite the kills, despite the trade, we're still only at a 200 XP difference and a 100 gold difference between these two teams, as this game dead even at the 8-minute mark. Both teams afraid of what the other could do, but both teams playing absolutely perfectly in response to the other.
Indeed, very, very close game, and I'm loving it. And this is really kind of what to be expected now that some of the blowout characters have gone away. You know, now that we see both teams on their full rosters, and now that we don't see a Zeus, we don't see a Ho Yi, who seem to be the two characters that most heavily define today's cast. Well, I'm not saying, I mean, again, Ho Yi's been blown out every game, so that's kind of the point, in that cursed role. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Very, very early defensive rush for the Xingqian. We're going into Emerald Talisman, saying, you know what, there's an Athena, there's a Geb, not that the Geb does much, there's an Agni that I need to be worried about. I'm going to go Emerald Talisman instead. And he's done a very good job with that.
Agni is going to be a huge threat. He's going to need to be in the phases of these front lines here, especially as Xingqian. You need to be in a position to be able to dive out here, and that extra health regen, once he gets the Emerald Talisman up to, well, most likely a Stone of Gaia, is going to be very, very helpful for Xingqian, letting him get deep in these fights and just sustain as a general nuisance in these back lines, which is what Crazy Toaster seems to love doing on these solo lane characters.
Indeed. It'll be very interesting to see sort of what happens here. Crazy Toaster, once again, getting very aggressive and could be in some trouble here as Maulus' ultimate does, in fact, come back up, and so he is going to be hit by that. He is going to just kind of continue to be aggressive here as they do not have enough damage. However, over in the dual lane, Risky Behavior is going to take away the Gold Fury. Left Syndrome trying to take it, but he cannot be able to, was unable to steal it as Xenotronics does finish him off, and Deadly Midget and Turnip do show up to the party a bit late, but at least they brought some spicy salsa.
They brought something, but it's not nearly enough. Risky Behavior actually got the kill, got the gold tier, and walked away with all the money in the bank right there. We do see the first actual golden experience differential of the game. 1,500 going to the grass in both directions right now. As Crazy Toaster now caught out alone and in the dark here. Will flip and burn, trying to actually find the double kill here. He could do it. He's so low on health. He will
she
die right there. He's going to get out alive and actually find a kill. Crazy Toaster going to survive and show his dominance right there, and just due to the damage you can put out, the long range of it too, Maulus is nowhere to be found, so he's got to back off before he dies.
Indeed, Crazy Toaster actually, again, healing up very, very quickly, so does go back, get the Stone of Gaia, and he does have Teleport as well, so he will be alright, and that was just too much aggression from Valentine, and he will give that up. Weapon and Skeleton will drop this blue buff for the solo laner of Risky Behavior, and, well, I'm pretty sure that describes that last fight.
Pretty much in a nutshell right there, as now we start to move towards this mid-game phase here. After this gold phase has been taken, now we're also going to see the return of the other objectives here. Xeno getting bursted quite heavily right there, will survive. We'll survive the last breath for some time there. Cobra's Kiss did connect as well, put out a ton of damage right there, but Risky Behavior still actually rocking a solid lead despite losing that mid-camp. They should secure this one with no real contest here. As long as they're quick about it, it will go down to their favor. Yes, indeed. As now Spitfire, they're grouped up, looking for something, but Risky Behavior have the superior position here. We'll see the through space and time actually coming out, looking for something, but nothing to be found here. So probing ultimate not going to be effective.
I'm not going to find too much here. Risky Behavior leading by a kill. Once again, still 1,900 gold, 2.3k experience. Experience been fluctuating a bit, but Risky Behavior sitting in the lead once again, which is not what we saw on Thursday. And again, certainly not this close matches we've been seeing, very much blowouts the last two games. We are going to see Crazy Toaster ulting over in the solo lane onto Valentine, throwing Valentine under tower, and we are going to see Valentine should be able to get out again with that dash. Crazy Toaster, I think, overestimating the amount of damage that he has. Though at the same time, he does force Ballantyne to not be able to do too much here, though Ballantyne's teleport is up. Although Crazy Toaster can find something here, he might be able to kill Ballantyne.
He's got the kill from the dot as well, but he's still looking for it. Ballantyne bleeding out fast. He leaps on over, he finds it at the tail end right there. As now Crazy Toaster's got reinforcements incoming. Mollusk will simply toss into a portal right there and fall very, very quickly right there, sitting at half health and no longer burning out now. But Spitfire now having their jungle aggressed on here. Risky behavior, taking all the steps to make sure that they don't fall behind. These guys, they know how to run away with a lead, and we've seen it in the past. That is one of their strongest points in the game. When they're ahead, it's very rare to make a comeback against these guys, but it has happened in the past, and it could indeed happen. We've seen Spitfire come back from worse, but this time around, they don't have the mega late game to bank on. Risky behavior, they're going to scale up just as nicely, if not even better.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Turnip hiding. I like this position from Turnip. You know, he doesn't want to go back to lane, or go back to base and then come back to lane. He doesn't want to go roam. He wants to just be here, and he knows that he can't farm too safely, so he's going to pretend that maybe he is roaming, maybe he isn't, and then he can come out after the lane is cleared and after his opponents have left, and then he can farm relatively safely because he thinks that his team can handle any displacement elsewhere. However, he does not know that there is a ward over here at this right speed camp that may be punishing Ballantyne and the Mollusk, but Skeleton will be unsuccessful and simply have to walk away.
Yeah, we'll be unsuccessful here, but maybe not so much when it comes to the Mollusk now. You know, looking for something as Webbin, not quite going to find that last tick of his Belt of the Gods right there. Not applying the healing nor the stun reduction right there. So, moving on forward, we will see Spitfire start to keep the farm game going, as Risky Behavior will actually just look to extend their lead through playing a superior farm game, and that's one of the things that earned them a minuscule lead early on in the game. They played the farm game incredibly well, as now Webbin face-to-face with the rest of Spitfire's lineup here around this mid-camp. This is an objective they want to contest, and it's right outside the gold tree. If they win this fight, this could be big, especially with right now. Skeleton in position here will drop the Fear No Evil as the Cataclysm does come on through. A blink in from the Mollusk, trying to find the advantage here, but he can't quite land. The ultimate Turnip is going to get bonked over the head with a quick Super Monkey Ball, as Skeleton will teleport on in. He's doing so much damage. His Turnip is just firing off so many shots here. Famous 8 joins the party. He's in such a good position to land so many kills.
Oh,
so beautiful, securing the kill right there as Skeleton will fall. Backing up his Famous 8, stunned out by the Noxious Fumes. Needs to turn and burn, but he's in the middle of a path of flames. That there's Toaster. Will toss him back, burn him up. Ballantyne going to fall to the Crazy Toaster. That's a quick leap from Webbin. Aegis, the Polaroid shot is good, but Famous Hate finds another good shot to the face as 1 for 3. Skeleton, the only one to fall, and falling in a good name for his team right there. Risky Behavior now set up for a Gold Fury, and I don't quite think Spitfire can contest it that easily here. They might want to try, but it might not be enough. Famous Hate low on health, but able to heal up quite nicely here as Webbin tanking. May need to trade off soon enough though, as here we go. Less Syndrome has a shot to steal this. It's gonna be a close call though. It's burning fast. Less Syndrome fires a shockwave. Not close enough though, and this will be Risky Behavior's Gold Fury through and through. Up to 5,000 gold differentials right now. The experience lead is growing fast, and this game is trending in Risky Behavior's favor quite nicely for them.
Indeed it is, and even the lanes where they aren't, the solo lane, for example, you know, the wave has been pushed very heavily in their favor, and just by the time that, you know, Mollusk goes, okay, I need to go clear this so it doesn't go under tower, well, Skeleton's here. Skeleton's ready to roll. Skeleton's going to bait it just a little bit, and he's going to push some damage in and be good to go. Pushing it back once again into Ballantyne. So force Ballantyne to come back over to clear it, otherwise risk some serious damage on his tower. So we may even see him go down to Crazy Toaster and Skeleton, as he's been forced to use a decent amount of mana just simply clearing the wave. And now he's going to start doing a little bit of backbaiting, and Crazy Toaster may come and grab him as, well, he's all alone and he's 2 levels down.
Hey, it's 2 levels down, but at this point, I think the tanks are tanky enough to not die to one another. They might have that middle fight, but the mid fight's where it's really at right here. Midget will eat a shield from the left Syndrome here. Skeleton actually burning incredibly fast. The meteor lands as Midget gets the kill onto Skeleton right there. Now, we're going to see a back off from Risky Behavior. They cannot afford to stick around, but they might just make that mistake. We will see a flank come on through. Famous Hate will actually spot Turnip before he can arrive to the party, and you've got to watch out for Famous Hate. He's got plenty of damage right now. Build is ready to go, but Webbin gets caught up by a Noxious Fumes Meteor combo here. Wave clear is alright for Spitfire here as they're trying to push on through, but Risky Behavior can fire back just as good. Tower Siege is beginning here. They're going to get quite a bit of damage onto this tower as the wave clear. They may have flood on the side of Risky Behavior, but Spitfire still have a comp that can walk up, take a few pot shots, and back away slowly but surely. But, well, risky behavior. Now that the backs or walkaways have come on through, are going to look to start their siege as well. And they've got an Apollo, and he's going to put some heavy-duty damage to the tower. But here comes the West Central. One target, though, with the Cataclysm, but it's only Wubbin. Wubbin going to burn, and burn out fast and bright right there, firing off one last ultimate there as the dance is good, and the dance floor is ready. But Spitfire, firing back as good as they get, as always, will take the only and first kill of the fight.
Indeed, however, we are going to see a bit of a slap fest here. Crazy Toaster are going to get stunned out by Deadly Midget, but I don't think he cares too much, and they are going to continue to provide pressure on the side. We will see Skeleton stealing away the speed buff while in the mid lane. We will be seeing Left Syndrome getting poked down by Famous Hate. Famous Hate, as you said, dancing. We are going to see Crazy Toaster actually is going to get sent out there, and he is in some trouble, and he's going to get pulled. Oh no, he's going to
no trouble.
There we go. Good throw as well, but then he gets out the backside and will just barely survive the Medusa ultimate, and he will be good. However, now they are chasing onto Xenotronics. Xenotronics will be able to get out the backside. Famous Hate ulting back in, and Famous Hate going to get knocked away by Left Syndrome, but I don't think you want to be trying to fight into Famous Hate, who is full health. But backside of that fight, Skeleton showing back up, and overall, all that fight did was actually gave Risky Behavior the moment to take out the Tier 1 tower of Solo Lane, and now they're going to take the mid lane tower as well.
Yeah, Risky Behavior, they pushed them back, but Risky Behavior, well, they can't just be pushed back. You've got to kill them if you actually want to stop them here, as now Spitfire, their towers are under assault. They lost their solo, they lost their mid, and now Risky Behavior, they're running wild over the map here. Spitfire, they're in dire straits. This map seems to be slowly closing out on them. The walls closing all over the place. As Risky Behavior, they start to play their ward and vision game even better here. Crazy Toaster actually wants a bit of a fight here. He could find it if he wants it, but Valentine right around the corner here. It's risky as Spitfire. They've got plenty of ways to reinforce rapidly, so he's just going to hang around looking for the blue buff to start up here. He wants to fight over this buff right now. As Crazy Toaster, he knows nothing other than aggression right now, and he is right in the face of Mollusk. Is actually watching double taunt in as Crazy Toaster taunted inside of the damage right there as the full Rotato comes in. Xenotronics arriving to the party with his ultimate right there through space and time. Plenty of space and plenty of work here. Valentine, he's trying to fight over his own blue buff here, but the damage is just a bit too much here. It will be actually secured by Spitfire there, but Crazy Toaster looking to zone. Valentine can simply walk on through as the damage not enough from Crazy, but the mid lane fight could break out any second here as now Spitfire aggressing towards the tier 1 tower of Risky Behavior here. With how spread out they are, this could actually be a fight here. Now the Cataclysm connects here. Skeleton in so much trouble. Your poison is ticking on as we see Xeno up in the air landing onto Crazy Midget right there as Ultimate Vortex is connecting from across the map now. We will see Mollusk forced away from this engagement here. A Noctis Fume zoning away the opponents on Risky Behavior, and now finally a back off here as a huge chunk of damage will run Turnip into the ground right there as we will see the Gold Fury low, starting soon, but not open for business just yet. Now open though as she will land.
Indeed, there we go, gonna come in, and again, the problem is that Spitfire too low to really be able to come in and contest this Turnip, able to go lifesteal up nicely. Crazy Toaster, however, backed, then did just come straight on in, and he is blowing up Turnip. He's gone through half of Turnip's health pool with just a couple of his abilities, and now we're going to see Xenotronics chasing. Xenotronics going to finish off the Snake. Jumping back over to the fight, though, we are going to see Crazy Toaster once again going 1 versus 2, and he doesn't care. Oh, hello, Giannis coming in from the side, and we are going to see Left Syndrome getting blown up here by that portal, and he will be able to roll out for now. But again, back at the Gold Fury is where the fight is at, as Valentine is going to maybe fall. There we go. He just fell to Famous Hate, and now Sirket is in the area. Well, was in the area.
Yeah, Mollusk unfortunately did not smell the real threat of this fight here, as now Gold Fury started up. 7,000 is the gold differential now, and about to grow as Midget getting zoned away here. Archer and minions doing work as Deadly Midget. He might try to turn this fight here, but Toaster is going to obliterate the rest of his health bar. All that remains is for Risky Behavior simply follow on through with their leads here. The gold lead has reached that near insurmountable point, 8,000, and about to grow even more than 9,000, as this tower should be fresh meat. A 12,000 experience differential here, and Risky Behavior showing up, lights out here. Where was this team on game 1 here? Of course, now that the Xenotronics and Famous are back together here, that might be the answer we want.
Indeed, 7 to 13, 21 minutes into the game. Golden experience massively in favor of risky behavior, just shy of 9k gold, just over 13,000 in experience. They are doing quite well for themselves right now, really taking a dominant lead. And again, they're on characters that will just continue to get better. There are no spikes that have been hit that they cannot spike off of again. Spitfire, on the other hand, is starting to hit some of their spikes that are definitely not going well. And then, of course, there's the decision-making. Spitfire in that last team fight kind of went in one by one instead of trying to group in and fight all at once. And because of that, 1 versus 4, you lose. 1 versus 4, you lose. You do that 4 times.
Well, I mean, they tried earlier on, like, not a full 5v5, but they tried. But of course, the problem was that risky behavior has so many ways of dividing these fights here. You've got the Drunken ultimate from Bacchus. You have the Fear No Evil. Cataclysm is going to be popped here, but there's no follow-up here. Now Left Syndrome alone, body block, facing a Fear No Evil, going to get burned out by Skeleton right there. Toaster still has access to no ultimate here, but Toaster now burning out fast. Intoxiate does come out here, as Famous Hate doing so much work in this fight. Toaster burning out, but not going to fall in the end here, as now the tower being aggressed on 4, followed on through as Xenotronics, wrong place, buddy. He goes to the wrong neighborhood. But here goes Famous Hate looking for the turnip. He's going to be beat, it seems right now, as he will fall. But Skeleton actually is the one to claim that, as Famous Hate will die as well. And now, risky behavior, taking too many risks, funneling into these fights, and in a horrible, horrible fashion, it seems. Still come out barely ahead, but, well, they could end up losing even more as Midget smells blood in the water. He's got a shot of double, he'll dashes on forward. Noxious Fume's gonna stun out Skeleton. Skeleton now burning up, but Wubbin looking for the stun here. Athena about to join the party here. No leap away from Skeleton. He gets it just in time away from the meteor here. As a quick dash in. Fear No Evil comes on down, but the flame, they're gonna burn out Skeleton before he can escape here. Wubbin, one more shot. He finds Deadly Midget before he dies. And here comes the rest of the gank squad. We see Crazy Toaster flipping on into the action, but he's the only man left standing on his team. And unfortunately, risky behavior. That is a really awkward fight for them. Going to go south in the end.
Indeed. So now we will be seeing a 17 to 11. That team fight pulling things back into reasonable. 7,992 is the goal difference. And just shy of 12,000 experience now. But still,
a very, very massive differential target.
Yes, this is very, very interesting, very risky. So we will. Again, I think crazy risky behavior. Excuse me. Realized that they went a little bit too ham, and so they're going to have to reset and rethink how they press their advantage, but they still will press their advantage and do just fine doing so, I would expect.
They've been fine normally, but that fight was really awkward, and they can't afford to march in one by one, overcommit to these ridiculous turret dives. Almost throw-worthy, I want to say.
It would be throw-worthy if they had lost the trade, but in the end they still almost won it. It was, I think it was an even 4 for 4 at the end, so...
I think it was actually a 3 for 4 in the end, going just slightly in favor of Spitfire right there, but now we're grouped up once again around another turret here. This is the tier 2 of mid lane, the Mollusk. He smells blood, and he wants to find Famous Hate. Actually blinks on through to try to save his own life here as his team isn't quite available, and Famous Hate just raining destruction to the tower here, slowly but surely plinking away at its health bar, and it's going to fall without too much really able to be done here. Skeleton leaps forward to safety here. Now a big engage could come through from Spitfire, a huge Cataclysm landing down, but Skeleton doing so much damage here. Fear No Evil already going to burn out the rest of the health bars here. Left Syndrome trying to escape, but Skeleton, he is looking for one more kill. Crazy Toaster will find it here, as he's got Valentine alone in the dark, gonna be completely crushed by Skeleton's overhead smash here. And Spitfire, they may have found a good engagement, but it turns absolutely sour now, as the Phoenix is threatened. And the Phoenix, oh, there's no real way to save it, bar a miracle here. Turnip looking to go forward here as Left Syndrome. He's got no Cataclysm. He's got no way forward. He needs to find someone to lock this down, but the Phoenix can't body block it. Turnip almost falls in the end there, and the Phoenix will go down. And this one is not a revival.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very difficult. Phoenix is down, and now they're going to split up just a bit, get some objectives on Spitfire's side of the map, and go from there. It's 11 to 20, 26 minutes in. Risky behavior, very, very strong lead right now. I liked the decision to go for Phoenix there because they were right there, but at the same time, that would have been a reasonable point to try and maybe consider going for Fire Giant as well. That said, certainly not a bad call, and we're going to see them probably try and pressure both lanes at once, both of the outer lanes, excuse me, at once. We see again, interesting itemization here. We see Bacchus going for a Stone of Gaia as well. Oh, there's the Giannis ultimate. Apparently they were thinking about going to go for the Gold Fury as well. And now this could be a catch out, as we do see, oh, the teleport is canceled due to the ward being destroyed. But there's the Hunbot's ultimate, and this could be a huge fight for Risky Behavior.
Yeah, this could be catastrophic. Skeledon gets a great turnaround just in time. Not going to get stunned out here. Zeta, he's taken so low. The real fight begins, so as here comes Famous 8 from above, crashing into the fight. As now Deadly Midget raining meteors. Famous 8 needs to slide away from this one. Grabbed out by Crazy Toaster is Valentine, burning out fast. Crazy Toaster will secure the kill. They're going unstoppable right now as Gold Fury. Not a bad call, but well, with how much damage, how much pressure, how much global utility this team has, you've got no safe options, no safe routes, and you can't chase down a Crazy Toaster. You're going to lose this Gold Fury. You're going to lose everything, lives included here as Risky Behavior. They're going to secure this, push the lead up to beyond 13,000 here. 14,000 is the current differential here, and it's only getting bigger as Crazy Toaster still actually being pursued by the full roster here as now Spitfire. They're trying to lock him down, but the real flank coming through. Risky Behavior, they're showing up. Crazy Toaster, he's still ticking on as here we go, over the top they come. This is game over as Risky Behavior will wash on through. A surrender vote starts up, and I think this could very well be the end as Risky Behavior wash over the tides, wash over the chase. 16,000. This is going to be your #1 seeded team, Risky Behavior, sending a huge message moving on towards the group stages. GG Risky Behavior with the first place finish in Week 5.
GG indeed, Risky Behavior taking it in Game 3. Game 3 much closer at first, but again, they were able to end up really just flying away with it towards the end there. So congratulations to them as they do take it, and they will go from there. And so congratulations to all the teams that placed top 8 finally for North America. And thank you to all of you who did tune in. Very well played. At the end of the day, I think that it really just came down to the late game team being able to get significantly ahead of the mid game. I mean, that sounds, again, very, very caster math, but you were able to see, you know, an Apollo and a Xingqian and a Giannis and a Hunbots all get very far ahead, and then there's no comeback mechanic on the side of Spitfire, and so Spitfire's flame was blown out, and with that,
yeah, it was just a very one and done, and obviously, there's not much we can say about it here as Risky Behavior. They played lights out as a team. Absolutely perfectly, especially compared to some of the previous games we've seen them in, and honestly, that's a very good sign going into the group stages.
Indeed. So we will see them in the and the round robin group stages next week, and you will also be seeing the Europeans tomorrow. I'm not quite sure how the time zones are going to be working out due to daylight savings time starting or ending tonight/tomorrow for EU. So that will change the number of hours, etc. But it'll be tomorrow. It'll be great. It'll be right here once again on Smite Game 2. I look forward to it. I'll be running production for that with, I believe, Shadowboy and Raikonius.
Before we close Target, I want to quickly go over the groups for North America really quick.
Alright.
As we do have the groups known right here, since we do have them assigned by ranking here. For Group 1, we have Risky Behavior at the top seeded team, Free K-Spot as the #3 seeded team, Burlyman at 5th place, and for the final slot, we have Vicious and Delicious as the 7th seeded team. Meanwhile, Group 2, we have Spitfire, Nizzle Shizzles, Inverse Esports, and Neil. So Neil have quite a difficult road ahead of them in this group stage.
Everybody's got...
All these groups are going to be incredibly difficult for these teams that just got in these last few seed points.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting group stage, and we will see what... Yeah, we will see how this all does go through. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Go head over to Smite Game... well, not 1, just Smite Game 2. Check out the SPL. I do believe it is underway right now, and I bet the matches are awesome. Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow or next week, wherever we may find you. Once again, this was week number 5 of the North American Challengers Cup, brought to you by hi-rez Studios in